Hello, everyone. Today we are talking about industrialization outside of the West and how it turned Japan a powerhouse in Unit 5 AP World History Modern. So, let's start with the historical developments. The expansion of the US and European influence in Asia led to the internal reform that we now know as the Meiji era of Japan. The Meiji era in Japan started in 1868 and approximately ended or started to decline during the World Wars. Now, as you can see here, this chart, Japan wasn't really doing too much. Wasn't doing too much. Japan wasn't the powerhouse we know today. But this is where it all changes during the middle/end of the Tokugawa era and the beginning of the Meiji Restoration. Now, during the Tokugawa Shogunate, which started to govern Japan in 1600, Japan still had an emperor, but the emperor had no power, and the land was mostly ruled under the daimyo. Now, this system was not centralized and it was very weak and ineffective against outside invasions, which led to Tokugawa instituting a system of isolation. Now, the Japanese government had executed all of the native Christians and expelled all foreigners in the early 17th century when Tokugawa came into power. Now, the only Europe outside connection Japan really had was the Dutch at the port of Dejima, which was the only port open to outsiders. Now, however, this period of isolationism came to an end when Matthew Perry in 1856, 1853, 1853 came to the coast of Japan and initiated and anticipated within the Japanese elite about how to respond with his demands, demanding that Japan open its ports of trade and allow American ships to refuel and take on supplies. Perry can be depicted here, or also here on some currency, as well as this woodblock print in the period of the time. Now, Perry in 1853 promised to return a year later after his demands to receive the Japanese answer. Now, this sparked chaos in the Tokugawa Shogunate because it made some wanted to fight, others wanted to give in. But they advocated for capitulation because of China's defeat at the hands of the British in the Opium Wars. This led to the 1854 Treaty of Kanagawa, which was modeled on unequal treaties between China and the Western powers. Now, this angered provincial leaders, which led to the eventual fall of Tokugawa. As you can see, more and more European influences came to Japan, with the British and French shelling the southwestern coast of Japan in 1864 to protest the treatment of foreigners, and this angered provincial samurai who resented the shogun's inability to protect the country and the unfairness of the Treaty of Kanagawa. This resulted in civil war, but in 1868, rebels overthrew the Tokugawa shogunate and the Meiji Restoration began. The Meiji Restoration's name comes from the word Meiji, which means enlightenment. Now you can see here Japan became a powerhouse in manufacturing as the Tokugawa as the sunset of the Tokugawa era and it rose on the Meiji era Japan. This era showed Japan conforming to the conforming to Western culture through modeling their army and navies on European powers and introducing Western style culture. Overall, the Meiji period was a period of you know, was a period of industrialization and Japan's turning into the eventual powerhouse that we would later see in the upcoming World War